Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am back with a delicious recipe, chicken curry, that is going to be amazing. This is Cook the Books. If you're new to my channel and if you don't know, then I have a whole playlist of Cook the Books. Being a food writer and having written 8 books, the 8th one coming out in July, I have lots of friends who've written cookbooks, and sometimes there are new authors who send me their cookbooks, and I love to kind of support them in whatever way I can. And one of the ways is if I find a delicious recipe, I share it and cook it from the book here on my channel, so you get to know a bit more about that person and their book. So I have chosen for today's recipe, oh, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button. Dun, dun, dun. So this is Simple Family Feast by Jeremy Pang. I have asked Jeremy to come and cook with me in the kitchen. We're just waiting to find some time to do that together. Anyways, so I thought, he runs a school or walk. Anyways, he has written this book and I have chosen chicken Panang curry. Now, Panang means crossed, which is easily mispronounced, and the real way to say it is Panang. I hope I've said it right. And origins began along Cambodia and Thai border and was named in reference to the crossing of the bird's legs to lock in the spice-based flavors. How interesting. And he is using whole leg joints here. I'm obviously going to go for skinless. I think they are with the skin, but I'm going to go for skinless. That's what I prefer. You can use it with the skin. Right, let's get cooking. So I'm going to start by soaking the red chilies. Here I have got 10 dried red chilies, and I am just using, you can use any that you can get your hands on. You can usually find it in actually not just Asian supermarkets, even normal supermarkets keep it these days. Right, so in the Indian section or the Asian section. So I've covered it with boiling water. Just need to use warm water to let this soften up because they are dried and they're crispy and you want to soften them up. So I'm going to leave this for 10 minutes while I prepare the other ingredients. So while the red chilies are soaking, I'm going to dry roast some spices. So need 2 teaspoons of coriander seeds. Now I'm just adding 1 extra for myself because I love coriander, but the recipe says to use 2 teaspoons of coriander seeds, 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds, and half a teaspoon of black peppercorns. And I'm just going to dry roast this for 2 minutes until it gets fragrant and starts to change color. You can see it's getting smoky. I can really smell it, and it's been 2 minutes. It's just starting to change color. Now I'm going to turn this off. Now the next step, I can do it in a pestle and mortar or a small mixer. I'm just going to use a mixer. The recipe calls for 4 to 5 Thai shallots. I haven't got Thai shop nearby. Actually, no such shop for miles, so I am just using 4-5 round shallots. The book does say that, the recipe does say that you can use 1 brown shallot. So yeah, I am just going to use the same quantity of normal round shallots instead of Thai ones. But if you can get hold of Thai shallots, go for it. Now I am using a mixer like I said, but you can do this in a pestle and mortar. So I'm going to collect everything in this jar. I'm also going to peel a couple of garlic cloves. So before I add everything to the, I have increased the garlic as well, please. You can use 2 if you like the recipe says. I'm using a bit more. I'm just chopping things up a little bit before I add it to the mixer. So we have got the shallots, we have got the garlic cloves, next I need lime leaves. Now I couldn't get hold of fresh, but I did manage to get hold of some dried ones. So this calls for 2, but because they are dried, I'm just using 3. I'm just gonna put it directly in here, break it up. Next thing to go in is 1 lemongrass stalk. So I am just gonna bash it up first and then chop it into kind of smaller pieces. Smells so lovely. Then it goes into the mixer. Next thing to go in is a little piece of ginger, just chopped up roughly. The next important flavor are the coriander stalks, not the leaves, but the actual stalks, because they have got so much flavor and I need a handful. So I'm just gonna give it a wash and roughly chop this bunch. Now the recipe calls for a handful of ready fried shallots or onions. I'm not sure if I've got any, so I might have to skip that one little thing. But the last thing to go in are the dry roasted spices. So that's all the gorgeous, beautiful ingredients done in the jar. I'm just going to add 2 tablespoons of water, and then I'm going to blitz this to a paste. Just going to add the chilies in here. Oh, the smell. Oh, beautiful. Right, I'm going to get the chicken. Right, the recipe calls for 4 chicken legs. So I've got these 4 chicken legs from my butcher, and I asked him to get rid of the skin. Obviously, if you're a regular viewer, you'll know I'll always tidy the chicken, get rid of these extra fat bits, and then I'm going to transfer it to a bowl. And it says to add 2 tablespoons of the curry paste on the chicken and then give it a good rub. And I'm just gonna let this sit. It doesn't say whether to let it sit or not, but I have got time today, so I'm gonna let this sit for half an hour in the fridge while I tidy the kitchen up. Smells so fresh and herby and aromatic and oh, wonderful. Right, so the chicken has been sitting in the fridge for half an hour, and now it's time to actually get cooking. I'm using like a flat pan so that there's enough space for all the 4 legs to sit flat. Yeah, and it's got a lid as well. Nice hot pan and 2 to 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil. I'm using sunflower oil. Basically, I think it doesn't have to have any kind of taste to it, flavor to it. Now bring out the chicken. So I am just about to cook the chicken for 5 minutes until it gets a bit of color on this side. And I'm going to do that on high heat. So I'm trying to get a bit of color. Oh, gorgeous. Look at that. Gonna turn it over and seal the flavor on the other side as well. And while the chicken's cooking, I'm going to make 100 ml of chicken stock. So I'm just using a ready cube. I'm going to add 100 ml of boiling water. So that's the stock ready, and once the chicken is done, I'm going to just take it out. And I won't clean this pan. I'm just going to start cooking in this same pan. You can use a heavy based wok, but I like these pans of mine, so I'm just going to stick with this. So just 1 more tablespoon of oil. And I'm going to add in all the leftover curry paste that's sitting in the blender right now. So in the same pan with that extra 1 tablespoon of oil, I'm going to add, my lime leaves are all broken up because they're coming from a bottle. But if you do manage to find some fresh, it needs 3 lime leaves. And then goes in the whole of the curry paste. And I'm going to cook this on low heat for 5 minutes. Now, according to the recipe, this is supposed to go all red. My chilies were not, obviously didn't have any color. They look really red, but clearly they didn't become red when made into a paste. So it's been 5 minutes. I'm going to add 75 ml of coconut milk and now bring this to a boil. Mine is like green, but till the time it tastes good, I don't really care if it's green or red. While that is bubbling away nicely, I am going to peel and chop 2 potatoes into like big chunks. So this is bubbling away. I'm just going to add the rest of the coconut milk. So I'm using a tin of 400 ml. The recipe asks for 300, but I really don't know what I'll do with the leftover 100. So I'm just using the whole of it. Also going to add the chicken stock and then just bring it to a boil. Now this beautiful curry has come to a boil. What I'm going to do is, first of all, going to add the chicken. And I'm using, instead of 2, I've used 4 potatoes because they were not quite big. So, and I've chopped it into big pieces. If I chopped any smaller, they will cook before the chicken cooks, and I want them to cook at the same time. Now I'm going to bring this to another boil, then going to lower the heat to real low and cook this for 35 minutes. And in 35 minutes, I'm going to check, which is just enough time for me to clear the kitchen and have a nice, lovely coffee. There hasn't been any salt added, so I need to check when the salt will go in. Yep, it's just starting to bubble away. It's better. Right, see you in 35 minutes. Okay guys, it has been exactly 35 minutes. It's been bubbling away. I have to say that the color is not green or not red. It is more of a yellow, and honestly speaking, I haven't added any turmeric. I've added what I've added in front of you. So yeah, I'm really happy with the color. I would have liked it a bit more red, but never mind. So you can tell that the potatoes are cooked because they are soft. And the chicken's falling apart too. Right, so this is done. The consistency should be that of double cream, which it is. And now I'm going to add the last 2 ingredients. So that's all done. The last 2 ingredients left to be added. I am surprised, and I have gone through the recipe again, and they have not added the salt at all. I have made sure I haven't missed it, but no. So I'm going to add salt according to how much I think will work well in here. Okay, so I think I will need to add a teaspoon of salt, and the recipe asks for a tablespoon of palm sugar or soft brown sugar if you don't have palm sugar. And the very last thing to be added is 2 to 3 tablespoons of fish sauce. So I'm just going to start with 2 and only add the third one if I need it, and then a good mix without breaking everything. Look at that. So it asks to finish the dish with some chopped up chilies. I haven't tasted it yet, so I don't know how spicy this is. I don't want to put more chilies if it's already too spicy, but that looks insanely good. That looks absolutely delicious. Change of plan. I have got some red chilies in the fridge, and I think it needs a little pop of color. So I'm just going to finish it with the chilies. It smells so incredible. So I know everyone has their own habits, but I've been cooking for years, professionally or not, just been cooking forever. And I just haven't got the habit of tasting while I go. I just haven't got the habit. And whenever I have kind of been to somebody's house and I'm watching them cook, everyone tastes while it's just something I haven't done. And I don't think I should change it now because, you know, if it's worked till now, then why fix it when it's not broke? So I've been so excited to try this because it's been smelling so amazing the whole time it's been cooking. Just look at that. So I'm going to make a nice big pile of rice. Let me show you how beautifully cooked it is. Potato is just perfect, and the chicken is literally falling apart. I need that sauce. And I am aware that there is fish sauce in this, so maybe that's why they didn't want to add any salt at all, but I still have added it, and let's go. So hot as well. Okay, it's got a kick to it. Oh, it's got a lot of kick to it. That's beautiful. And it is very salty, but it's not over salty because I'm going to serve it with plain rice and it'll balance it out. But you might want to just add half a teaspoon of salt or not add salt and see at the end of it how much you want. That is just gorgeous. It's got that warmth to it with all the chilies and the peppers, and it's so well balanced. Absolutely delicious. I'm going to leave the link to the book in the description. Do give this a go. Don't forget to subscribe, and I promise I'm going to be doing more of Cook the Books because it just gives a different look to a cuisine that I don't normally do, because you know, I'm trying stuff, that chicken Panang curry that I wouldn't have known where to start. So yeah, try this chicken Panang curry and hope you enjoy. Bye for now. Surrounded flavors.